We've got an awesome show for you today, so let's get started. Screw your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Boy, have we got some truth police out there on our side. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Let's dive in. Let's get to it. Let's dig through the muck. Let's start slinging some shot. Whew. This is the Monologue and Q&A, the question and answer, where you guys get to direct the show. So get your questions into Jolene. Get them in now. Get them in anytime during the show. Just put them in the comments section, and she'll set us up. And I got to tell you, folks, you better be ready for everything, folks, for everything. And I want to start. Yeah, we'll get the truth out. You can handle the truth. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Well, what is the truth, folks? Who gets to decide? Who gets to decide what is fair and what isn't? Who gets to decide who is destroyed and who gets to stay? Unbelievable things are happening. If you don't think they're coming for all of us, you're sadly mistaken, and you will be sorry. If you are prepared, you know what's happening. When it's time, folks, you'll know it's time. Okay, now, can you taste the partisanship on this? Can you taste it? Republican congressional candidate, Representative Cawthorn, folks, is being smashed around with revenge porn, right? And guess what? Twitter and Facebook are allowing it. Can you taste the partisanship now? Right? But they took down anything pertaining to Hunter Biden with his crack pipe, his drugs, his hookers, his orgy. Everything about him was Russian disinformation, man. No, it wasn't. It's been confirmed. It's real. Still, they will allow someone else to be attacked and destroyed. Why? Because of partisanship. You bet. It's all about the partisanship, folks. It's hit the fan. They're tearing our country down. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. I don't think I'm exaggerating in the least. Not in the least, right? Not at all. To give you an example, folks, Elon Musk basically has gone after Soros. That's right, folks. George Soros and his dark money groups. That is, he has a bunch of non-government organizations, NGOs out there that he funnels money through, and they commit their attacks. They go after people and destroy them. This is how the Democrats have realized. This is how the world globalists have realized they can win by using secretive NGOs to funnel their money. It's just another money laundering avenue, but they put it directly into and inject their money into the election system, not on just the national level, but all the way down to the local level. And now they're entering into, that's right, folks, media. So Musk purchased Twitter, right? And it's prompted Soros's NGOs to sign a letter expressing their concern about Musk's plan, saying that his takeover of Twitter will further toxify our information ecosystem. I'm going to stop right there. The only ones toxifying our information ecosystem. Well, I love this. They're making it sound like there's an ecological problem. There's an environmental problem. Oh, good golly, it's toxic. There's pollution. Who is doing the lying? Yeah, we're going to get into more about the mainstream media and their abject, absolute failure, but they don't see it that way. They don't care. They're not backing up, folks. They will not stop. They're going full speed ahead with this attack on us. And they're saying, you're the problem, folks. They're saying, I'm the problem. So Elon Musk's takeover will further toxify the ecosystem and be a direct threat to public safety. Public safety, you think so? You see, once they say there's a threat to public safety, now law enforcement, now district attorneys can be involved. Now legislatures can pass laws because of public safety. That's one of the few legitimate reasons there is a government. But deciding what causes the public to be safer or less safe, now we get into the issue. It's about free speech. Speech is not supposed to be regulated or controlled because it is partisan in nature. I believe that everything any Democrat says is a threat to free speech. It is a threat to public safety. It's a threat to national security. It's a threat to our freedoms and our Constitution. I'm not allowed to stop them, am I? So they go on to continue and say, Musk's takeover is a direct threat, especially among those already most vulnerable and marginalized. Folks, joining this group is Media Matters, an incredible globalist organization that's been around for 20 years. And it says it is dedicated to comprehensively monitoring, analyzing, and correcting conservative misinformation in the U.S. media. Conservative misinformation. Let's see, is NBC, ABC, MSNBC, CBS, CNBC, CNN, or Fox News conservative? The only conservative people out there, I think, are Maria Bartiromo and Tucker Carlson. Everyone else, not so much. Everyone else is pretty much anti-America, left-leaning, globalist, socialist garbage. So Media Matters is basically here to stop you and I on social media, not mainstream media. Right? They call it U.S. media. They don't want to call it mainstream media or broadcast media. They don't want to call it satellite media. They're afraid to call it social media. They don't want to say, we're correcting conservative misinformation on social media or internet media, because that's really pointed then, right? So let me ask this. Who is now marginalized and vulnerable? Who speaks for taxpayers on social media and U.S. media sources? Who speaks for the protection of children in school and in vitro? Who speaks for human rights and constitutional rights? Who speaks for veterans and disenfranchised Americans of the middle class? Who speaks for the marginalized, non-liberal, freedom-loving traditional patriots? Nobody, no one, not anyone, anywhere, folks, if they have their way. That's what Media Matters, Obama, Biden, Pelosi, Clinton, and all the evil scum wants, folks. They want no free speech. They want controlled speech. And they have the power, folks. Now, it would be amazing to see Clinton lose power, Pelosi lose power, Schumer lose power, and then listen to the screeching about them being silenced and controlled. And then listen to them scream and yell that, see, conservatives have lied in order to regain power. Folks, the lie out there is the great lie. It is the great lie. Get your questions into Jolene. You're going to love it. And remember, folks, remember who the bad guys are.
Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
That's right. The MAGA crowd is the most extreme, most dangerous group in American history, right? It's not Congress. It's not Schiff. It's not Pelosi. It's not Liz Cheney. No. It's none of those people. It's the MAGA crowd. Well, speaking of Adam Schiff, he popped up in the news today, folks. Did you see what's coming? I'm going to tell you right now, once I get through this, you're going to go, holy cow, here it comes, which is what I said. Because I didn't see it coming, folks. I didn't. I was too busy watching the other dozen SHTF world-changing events happening. Once again, folks, this is their final game. The 2022 election is for the whole thing. If we don't win this election in 2022, it is over. I have no doubts. I have no reservations at this point. This is the last hurrah, and it's not even a presidential election. 2024 will not matter whether it's Trump or DeSantis or Trump with DeSantis. It won't matter. The presidency is nothing if it's held by a conservative. Bug-eyed Shifty Schiff revealed the next phase of their globalist World Economic Forum plan for America's destruction. And he said it in just a couple sentences. Are you ready? This is what he said. This is what he tweeted. I don't care how the draft leak. I don't care how the draft leaked. That's a sideshow. And he is correct, folks. That is to get all of the liberals riled up. That is to get all of the wackos out there burning, looting, murdering, torturing, attacking, harming, scaring people. And it's a sideshow. Here is what really is going on. Quote, what I care about is that a small number of conservative justices who lied about their plans to the Senate intend to deprive millions of women of reproductive care. Codifying Roe isn't enough. We must expand the court. There it is, folks. There it is. This is not, doesn't have anything to do with Roe versus Wade. This has to do with, oh my God, these conservatives have gone buck wild. They're crazy. They're lunatics. They're off their rocker. They're not behaving. They lied to us. They lied to us. And then they leaked this information. No, wait. Yeah. A liberal leaked it. But that doesn't matter, right? He says, I don't care how that draft leaked. They're trying to say that conservative justices lied about their plans to the Senate. Since when do Supreme Court justices have to give their plans, their belief systems to the Senate? The Senate asks questions, kind of like Ketanji Jackson Brown. She couldn't even define what a woman is. Did she give up her plans, her ultimate plans for America? Hell no. So the conservative justices, they didn't give up their plans. So this is so egregious, folks, that millions of women are being deprived of reproductive care. Since when is an abortion care? It doesn't matter, folks. The definition of words do not matter to these people. It is, and it always has been about expanding the Supreme Court, stacking the Supreme Court. Remember when that was a big deal prior to the election? Oh yeah, prior to the election, folks, it was a big old deal. Hey, Biden, you're going to expand the court. Hey, Biden, you're going to expand the court. Hey, Biden, you're going to expand the court. Ruth Bader Scumbag Ginsburg died. Trump appointed another justice. The left went nuts. We're going to get back at you, man. We're going to put more Supreme Court justice. We're going to stack the court. And then they're like, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. So here we are now. Now the justification is there. Well, these conservatives lied. What did they lie about? Doesn't matter. Millions of women are going to be deprived of their reproductive care. We must expand the court. They want to load it with more communists. One, this really won't pacify the left. 2, this will completely destroy the representation that is in the court, that is of any use to our constitutional rights and our constitutional republic. This is the big enchilada, folks, right here, and it is back in our face. Even if the Supreme Court leaves Roe v. Wade as is and says, oh yeah, this is a federal thing. We won't leave this up to the states to determine their own courses of action, even though that's actually better for people. If you want abortions, move to Illinois, California, move to New York, move to Seattle or Portland, and just get the hell out of our conservative states. No, they want to overturn everything. They're pushing for partisan conflict, folks. They're pushing harder than ever. I am not going to recommend anything dangerous or harmful. Not in the least. But these people are. They want to burn it down, burn it to the ground. Folks, they don't just want to burn the Supreme Court to the ground. They want to burn the whole system to the ground. We're supposed to trust the courts and allow the courts to do what? Folks, in Los Angeles, the district attorney, Jorge Gascon, George Gascon, he is not going to bring felony charges against the jackass who attacked Dave Chappelle. And he attacked Dave Chappelle with a knife. Nope, no felony charges. That would be the district attorney, works for the court system. You think you can trust the courts? Yeah, if they're going to arrest you, then you allow them to arrest you and you'll have your day in court because justice is always served. My ass. How's the court thing working out for the January 6th protesters? How did the court thing work out for Paul Manafort? How did the court thing work out for General Flynn? The FBI lied, set him up, then lied some more. And it took him years, folks, years, and it destroyed him financially. General Flynn destroyed him financially. He was prosecuted not only by a prosecutor, but also by a judge. They've been trying to get Trump, President Trump, on everything they can using the court system, and they can't find anything. They can't even make shit up right. But it's costing him money. It's ruining, folks, his ability to stand in front of the people and say, right, I'm clean. I have problems with what's going on and I can fix them. Well, you can see what they're willing to do. They're willing to lie, cheat, and steal. And they've said so and they've admitted it. And now we have the definitive proof. And now even more. I don't trust the courts. They do catch and release with violent leftist criminals. And they lock up protesters for walking in the Capitol building. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Do you have questions? I recommend getting them in right now. There's got to be something that is just making you mad, that's got your curiosity piqued, that you want more information on. Don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, folks. There's so many angles to this. And one story doesn't have one angle and one way to follow it. There's many perspectives on every story. And there's multiple things going on, right? To prove the point, let's head on over to Ukraine. The United States government is now using the United States military to train Ukrainian troops, and they're stepping it up. They're rejecting, though, this claim that it's a proxy war, that the United States is fighting Russia and they're using Ukraine soldiers by training them, right? Now, Gerard Casey tweeted this out. When is a non-war a war? When it's a proxy war. If two countries are at war and a third country lends material support to one of them, it beggars belief to deny that the third country is at war with the other, de facto or de jure, meaning it's of fact and of truth, right? Whether it's whether you say it or not, it is. They're helping. They're part of this war, right? Increasing its training of Ukraine troops and also supplying the Ukraine army with weaponry, including helicopters, drones, missiles, rockets. It's going to exacerbate the conflict and concrete and ensure the new Cold War exists. And folks, potentially cause the war to spread into other areas, other nations, create enemies of once friendly allies, and maybe even start World War III. More discussion about Russia now doing a preemptive nuclear strike is happening, saying, Russia may end up having to use a nuke. Really? Why is this being put out there? Why? Because they want this, folks. They want you afraid. They want everyone to see this. And again, look what's happening over there. Then look what's happening over there. Then look over there. There. You can't keep up. They're doing this intentionally. They're doing it intentionally, folks. President Biden is going to continue to call Americans who do not support him extremists. This is all they have, folks. This is all they have. What do they have to run on in 2022? Are they going to say, hey, look, we've given you so much inflation, we're going to give you more? Well, that's not a good thing to run on. If you like your high fuel costs, imagine we're going to make them even higher. That doesn't work. We've been allowing the invasion of our southern border since 2020, 2021, and we'll allow even more. No one will vote for that. So instead, they say anyone who likes Trump, anyone who likes the concept, the idea of make America great again, they're extremists and the most dangerous extremists ever to be in this country. I guess they're more extreme than American Nazis. I guess MAGA people are more extreme than communists. They're more extreme than the violent terrorists, the Weather Underground, the Black Panthers of the 1960s. They're more extreme, folks, than, I don't know, everybody. This is their voting platform. This is their justification, folks. They're going to stand up and say, if you like the Supreme Court, we're going to stack it full of even more liberal scumbags. I guess liberals will vote for that, right? Since they're pretty sure it'll guarantee their right to reproductive health. Health, really. So a healthy womb is one that has lots of abortions, right? A healthy psychological profile for a woman is one who has managed to disrespect her body and who she is as a person and get knocked up 1, 2, 5, 10 times and continually just says, well, I'm a loser, I guess I'll go get another abortion. That's reproductive health. It used to be that, well, it was a necessary evil and you can't take it. Now it's something to be proud of, says Letitia James, New York State Attorney General. She's proud of her abortion. Unfreaking believable. Why would anyone be proud? Well, they are now, folks. Now, having an abortion is a Democrat sacrament. It is an act of holiness on their part to prove that they're with the cause. Unbelievable. It's completely unbelievable where this is going. Right? Whoopi Goldberg, folks, had this to say. It's divisive. It is what they're going to campaign on. They may or may not get and stack the Supreme Court. I'm giving it 50-50. I don't know whether they'll be able to stop them or not, or whether the outcry from American people is going to be enough to stop it. They've got the government, they've got the mainstream media, they got control of social media, and they would love, folks, to say, we're just going to load another 5, 7 super socialist Democrats into the court. It wouldn't surprise me if Justices Clarence Thomas and Alito resigned in disgust and disgrace over what the rest of them are doing. It wouldn't surprise me in the least, which wouldn't help our cause, but it'll already be ruined. So Whoopi Goldberg, idiot extraordinaire. She says, who makes a decision to have an abortion? Quote, this is what she says, my doctor, myself, and my child. Once again, folks, the stupidity, the lunacy. So Whoopi is stupid enough that she thinks the world will believe an unborn child is part of the decision-making process over whether or not an abortion happens. Okay, let's roll with that brilliance, right? An unborn child wants to end its own life. Folks, that's called suicide. Suicide requires treatment, not a death sentence, right? If someone says, I'm going to commit suicide, you don't say, great, let me help you, and then shoot them in the head. And then go, well, there's asking for suicide. I just made it easier, right? Something he couldn't do for himself. That's kind of like a fetus. They want to die. The only way we can do it is this way, right? Okay, let's go back. Well, let's just say suicide requires treatment, not a death sentence. Therefore, until the child is born, grown, educated, and competent to explain its thoughts on its own life and how suicidal it is, it should be protected, should it not? We always protect the sick. And while on the topic of the death sentence, right? Well, if they want to die, it's its own death sentence. I was under the belief that Democrats and liberals and soft-hearted, mush-brained morons of the left were against the death penalty. Remember that? They hold candlelight vigils, they sing songs, they file lawsuits, they do sit-ins, etc., to stop the unnecessary killings. Yeah, the unnecessary killings of savage criminals that have earned the death penalty, that is the law, that's on the books, that they're prosecuted, tried, and have a jury say, yep, there it is. So why do Democrats want to excuse the value away and kill innocent babies, but free wildly dangerous criminals? Right? That's what they want. Follow their logic. It isn't logic. Follow their reasoning. It's unreasonable. And Whoopi is that stupid, folks, to say the decision to have an abortion is between my doctor, myself, and my child. Does the kid get a vote? Is that what you're telling us? Is the doctor the tiebreaker? Wait. What about men? Once again, doesn't the father of the baby, I guess since all of these people getting abortions are whores, they don't know who the dad is. I guess that's why they don't get to make a decision. They're not involved because men can't have babies. Oh, wait, you're a transphobe if you say that. Yeah, they're just, their belief systems on the left, these globalist, socialist morons, their narrative changes depending on what story they're talking about. If you want to talk about a man having the right to have a baby, well, you can't tell him no, and he can be a woman and get a trans operation, so he's a woman. Men can claim to be women. They can be swimmers, they can be track stars, they can destroy other women in competition. That's fine because they identify as women. That's how that works, right? But when it comes to men and reproductive health, reproductive care, men aren't allowed in. In fact, Whoopi said some shit about some fat old guy scratching his belly, making a decision for women. I'm pretty sure there are women out there, some probably hairy, ugly ones out there that are trying to make decisions for me, saying how much taxes I have to pay and where I can and can't go and what I can and can't say. Yeah, I got some problems, folks, with representative government. That's why we have a constitutional republic, to protect the majority from the tyranny of the minority and protect the minority from the tyranny of the majority. It works both ways because we have inalienable rights, meaning no matter who is in charge and how much power they think, our rights are always inalienable. That is, they cannot be separated from us. They cannot be taken from us. And that includes the right to life. Woo, hello, babies. Liberty. Hello, John and you, right? Pursuit of happiness, property rights, travel, freedom of movement, freedom to do business, freedom to buy, freedom to sell, freedom to be. Unfreaking believable. Folks, it is now time for the Q and the A, the question and answer section. Right? I get the first 30 minutes. You guys get the last 30 minutes. I got a lot to talk about, but I want to hear what you want to discuss.
Are you ready?
This is an exhausting process we're going through, folks, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Seriously, it's a process, right? You have to take everything off the shelf, examine it, and put it where it belongs, in the trash heap of globalist democracy or in the trophy stand of constitutional republicanism. All right, let's see what you want to discuss. Jolene, who's up first? Of course, it would be Latin America preparedness. And he says 60 million babies were killed since Roe v. Wade, with 30 million of those being Black babies. Would that be genocide and or ethnic cleansing? Well, this is really interesting. The reason I want to approach this topic is because I want to point out the racism of Democrats. They pretend to be the party of inclusion when they do nothing but divide and pit people against one another. They pretend, folks, that they love minorities and persons of color, especially Blacks. Yet, who stood against the civil rights movement that was headed by Martin Luther King Jr.? That is correct, the Democrats. Who formed the Ku Klux Klan? That would be the Democrats. Who was the senator that Hillary Clinton just gushed and oozed and filthified the air, discussing what a great influence he was over her life? None other than Senator Byrd. And who was Senator Byrd? Grand High Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. You betcha, babe. You betcha. Right? Hillary loves a Klansman. Democrat senators love Klansmen. This topic of race and who is allowed into special Delaware boat clubs, right? The same clubs that Joe Biden and other Democrats belong to. Oh, yeah, they're rather racist in nature. In fact, wasn't it Joe Biden who used the N-word many times on the floor of the Senate, folks, the United States Senate? There is right now a Marine Corps general who is in big trouble because he heard some other Marines playing rap music where the N-word was used. And he told them that word is bad, that word is wrong, etc. And he repeated the word without saying N-word, because when you say N-word, it's not as bad as saying the real word, because nobody knows what you're really saying, but it's the N-word. Isn't this ridiculous child's play? Oh, it definitely is, folks. Nobody's allowed to say the N-word, but when you say N-word, we know what N-word you're talking about. It's the dumbest thing, yet this is who we're dealing with, folks. And the Democrats don't like. They've always demonstrated that they have contempt for everybody, especially minorities. So now let's move to Latin American preparedness, this question. I've been dying to talk about this topic. Yeah, about half of the babies that have been aborted in this country are babies of color. They're box. While African Americans represent, folks, only 13% of the population. Basically, 1/8 of the population, folks. 1/8 of the population has half the abortions. Who loves abortions? Democrats, liberals, socialists, progressives. The same people who have been anti-minority and anti-Black people all along, who have demonstrated through their repeated elitist attitude, behavior, sentiment, and comments, demonstrated that they have nothing but contempt. And here we have a great example. It's actually a disgusting example, but it proves the point. Now, the question of whether this is genocide or ethnic cleansing, I've never liked the term ethnic cleansing, right? Just the word ethnic, period. It was like a nice way to say race. Racial cleansing? Well, it certainly is a good way to limit a particular portion of the population from reproducing by telling them it's their right. And in fact, it's virtuous. I mean, I've heard of people having baby after baby after baby after baby after baby just so they can get more welfare, and welfare. This entire system, folks, has absolutely nothing to do with the Constitution. It needs to be picked up, carried over here, and just thrown away. Right? The Constitution says nothing about the redistribution of wealth, right? The war on poverty, the Great Society, the welfare system, the safety net system, socialized medicine, socialized healthcare, socialized retirement, social this, social that. There's nothing in the Constitution that allows it. And it is compulsory, meaning you can't opt out. It's not voluntary. We're all forced to put up with this and forced to participate, forced to fund it. I don't like my taxpayer money, the money I pay in taxes, going to woke programs, to social programs, to welfare programs that do nothing but, how do I put this? Encourage more welfare mentality. I like the idea of a hand up and assisting and helping those, right? Helping others, being charitable. I like that idea. But forcing people to do it in a way that violates their, shall we say, moral compass. That great phrase that the Clintons brought out. The moral compass. Yeah. All right, let us move on. Thank you, Latin America Preparedness. Cottage Farm checks in. Hey, we're glad to see you back. Haven't seen you in a few days. She says, what are your thoughts on the Department of Justice's new Office of Environmental Justice? Well, I got to tell you, I think it's absolutely fantastic. We need more federal bureaucracy. I tell you, Cottage Farm, I love the idea of having another environmental organization to complement the Environmental Protection Agency and OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, because, a cleaner environment is good for not only animals, but people in the workforce. So maybe people should wear masks so we don't pollute the air, and we should wear masks outside so we don't pollute and kill animals. And then I think it's disgusting. I think it's horrible. Satire aside, we don't need more bureaucracy. We don't need more laws or regulations. The Department of Justice should be prosecuting crimes. Like Hunter Biden's laptop has pictorial and video evidence of criminal activity. There's also audio recordings that implicate the President of the United States in pay-to-play government insider. It's not just immoral. It's not just unethical. It doesn't smack with. It's a clear admission that money is given away and that Joe Biden gets his 10%. Yet we don't have that from the Department of Justice. Instead, we need environmental justice. What is environmental justice, folks? Well, I don't know how they're going to play this one out, but I can tell you pretty much right off the bat, they want justice for the environment. So if you do something that somebody considers harmful to the environment, then they can call it a crime. Like carbon. They've decided that carbon is dangerous and bad. So you have to pay for it. If any company, right, puts out too much carbon, there's a crime. I mean, never mind littering. Never mind all the useless eaters in colleges that are the newborn hatched liberals. Yeah, it's absolutely horrifying what's going on in Cottage Farm. Horrifying. Like we need this. We need this like we need another President Biden, right? We should clone Joe. So we've got 10 of him running around making even more stupid decisions. No, I don't like this idea at all. I don't like the Office of Environmental Justice any more or less than I like the new Misinformation or Disinformation Governance Board that is coming out under the Department of Homeland Security. Once again, it is a stretch, a breach of the fiduciary requirements of government, right? It's beyond their scope. There's nothing in the Constitution that says they have this power or this authority, but here it is. This is a problem, folks. This is why shit has hit the fan. This is why it will get worse, and this is why civilizations collapse. Thank you again, and welcome back. Always, we welcome the questions from our supporters, who also always have really great topics on their mind. So who do we have next? Jolene. Oh, we got Fourth Dimension. That would be Kaz. He's stepped in and he's swinging his wrench around, probably thunking any trolls that show up. But he says, John, insert disclaimer. What happens if Make America Great Again embraces the names they've been called and actually acts like DVE and goes on the offensive? DVE, folks, is domestic violent extremist. Yeah, see, this is the catch-22, isn't it? The federal law enforcement, federal goon squads of the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the Attorney General's office, Department of Justice office, right? The FBI, let's just throw the CIA in there for fun. They want to call us domestic violent extremists. They want to say that Make America Great Again people that believe in the greatness of our freedoms and liberties. I mean, 1776, they tried telling and saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene can't, she supports terrorists because she used that number when it's on the seal of the state, referring to the battle against tyranny. And what was that tyranny? The tyranny, folks, was government overreach, government abuse of power. That's why they wrote the Declaration of Independence. Not because they wanted to form a more perfect communist government, not because the people of the American colonies wanted socialism. They didn't want any of that. They wanted freedom and liberty. They wanted to live freely. So yeah, if people of patriotic, traditional American belief systems actually said, okay, you want to call us domestic violent extremists? Well, I guess then maybe we should start acting like that and see what the consequences are. Now, I would never, ever on this channel sit here and say that is a good idea. I won't recommend anything harmful or dangerous. I will be satirical, but I'm not going to do anything that violates their terms of service or community guidelines. But if that happens, when it happens, maybe I should say, as government encroaches on our rights, people will become more offended and they will become, shall we say, injured by the government. Now, let's just say that you were captured in high school by 3 bullies, and 2 of them had, they're holding an arm of yours, right? And you're hoping that the 3rd one doesn't hurt you. Well, if the 3rd bully decides he's going to punch you, it's going to hurt really bad. And you're probably going to start resisting. You're going to try and extricate, remove your arms from those that that are holding you back. So let's just say the alcohol and tobacco firearms is one bully. The FBI is another bully, right? And the Department of Homeland Security is another bully. Everyone wants to hold us back. Everyone wants to say, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. But what happens when one of the bullies starts punching? That is hurting us. That's happening right now with the January 6th protesters. It's happening right now with all of us. We're being restrained, and we're being called the bad guy while they pick on us, while they bully us, while they call us names like domestic violent extremists and Nazis and white supremacists, and then claim that we're not allowed to yell out and call for help. We're not allowed to talk about how we're being bullied. That's what they're doing, folks. So eventually someone is going to say, I'm tired of being held. I'm tired of being punched and hit. I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being damaged. And they're going to start resisting and punching back. I would say right now, Kaz, where we're at in this is people are now resisting. I know you are. I know I am. I am resisting and trying to get my hands free. I'm trying to be able to speak freely. Freedom of speech. And so I am in this struggle to get loose and get free and get away from these bullies. We all are. But it seems like the more we resist, more bullies come at us. Oh, this is great, right? Environmental Justice Bureau, fantastic. Disinformation Governance Board, oh great, a Ministry of Truth to silence us and to put more duct tape over our mouths, right? The alcohol and tobacco firearms, they want to call ghost guns bad, wrong, illegal. They want to violate our rights left and right. Then they want to stack the Supreme Court. That's like the principal's office. You're like, you go to the principal's office and go, hey, principals, these guys are picking on me out here and I have my rights. And the Supreme Court says, yeah, well, we're bullies too. And so you have no rights. But if you want an abortion, you're welcome to it. Rim shot. All right. Thank you, Kaz. Yeah, it's coming. Everything they do is a push in the direction that is, well, not so fun. So thank you very, very much for that, man. Now we move on to Todd and Prepared. Always good to hear from you guys. He says, how would we like it if Russia and China were giving weapons and training Mexico to fight us? We would be pissed. Putin feels threatened. Now, see, this is the math is so easy on this one. This is something we've talked about here forever from the beginning, right? So when someone's picking on you, when someone's threatening you, what's your attitude? You want to tell them no. You want to stop them. You want them to back off. In fact, we do have this exact scenario, or one very close to it. Happened in the early 60s. It was called the Bay of Pigs. Nope, take that back. The Cuban Missile Crisis. Right? The Cubans decided with the Russians, or rather the Soviet Union, to put a bunch of nuclear missiles in Cuba, 100 miles from Miami. Very close to the United States of America. And America said, hey, that's just a little too close. Well, here's Ukraine, and the United States and NATO want to put nuclear missiles in there right on Russia's border. Russia said, no, we feel threatened. We would not like it if Russia or China put nuclear missiles in Mexico aimed at us. Wouldn't like it if we put missiles in Canada and aimed at us. Wouldn't like it if China did it. Russia did it. We wouldn't like it if any country did it. Would we like it if Israel did it? No. Wouldn't like it if Pakistan or India did it. No, and no. I wouldn't like it if Iran did it. Nobody wants nuclear missiles pointed at them. Right? Now, Russia has said, we've got missiles, short-range missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and they can all be tipped with nukes, including their hypersonic missiles. Missiles so fast, they can't be seen. Missiles so fast, they can't be tracked and targeted and taken down. Basically, they're unstoppable missiles that travel so quickly that we won't have a chance to know if they're here. How would we like that? Hypersonic missiles on the Mexican border. They go off, they're here in a matter of seconds. Putin feels threatened. Putin doesn't want Western banking, central banks in his country. He doesn't want to be forced to participate in their environmental and social governance crap, right? Like you're going to go into Russia and say every company has to have so many persons of color and so many homos and so many trans and so many women. Russia's like, that's not our culture. We don't have that here anyways. It can't work because it's not, well, then you have to import it. You have to bring in people from every shithole country around the planet. That way you can have a beautiful, we'll even export our frutastic perverts here in America. So you've got lots of wackos to put on your boards. I'm sure Russia's just going to line up for that shit. Well, they've tried it, folks. Countries like Hungary, part of the European Union, Viktor Orban, the leader of Hungary, says, no, we're not going to allow scumbag immigrants into our country. Poland, who does not like Russia going into Ukraine. Well, they don't like the EU telling them they have to allow scumbag migrants from other parts of the world to, come into Poland and destroy their culture and their cities. Yeah, people are going to have to decide what side of the fence you want to stand on. National sovereignty and your culture, your rights, your traditions, your laws, or are you going to accept this globalist crap? Well, I've actually caught some interesting headlines over the last couple of weeks that globalism is losing. Globalism is losing, and it's playing out in Ukraine. That this Ukraine attack by NATO and the US and this Ukraine attack by Russia is demonstrating the failures of globalism because of what is going on with Russia and their energy, and China with their basic export ban now. They're not sending anything out of China. You see, the other countries are completely rejecting wokeism. You think China is going to allow wokeism to take root, critical race theory in China? You think Russia is going to allow that? They're rejecting it. They're tired of being threatened. The world is sick and tired, folks. I mean, look at the energy crisis in Europe. Long before Ukraine, Russia, Europe was facing an energy crisis. Stupidly, some countries shut down their nuclear power plants. Stupidly, countries shut down their coal power plants and almost replaced them with windmills and solar farms, and have discovered that windmills and solar farms are intermittent and unreliable and won't do it. So they've been bringing in Russian gas, Russian oil, Russian uranium, right? And they're firing up their carbon-free nuclear programs. It's quite interesting. Germany still hasn't changed its mind, but Finland, England especially, France especially, are firing up their nuclear energy programs. But they've discovered that not everything that these globalists want is working. It's incredible, folks, the problems globalists have caused in order to force everyone else to eat their shit sandwiches that they make and pay for it too. All right, let's move on if we shall. I know I get a bit long-winded on these topics. We've got Eli in the Wolverine State. He says, statement, government shouldn't make health decisions for people. Government is not a doctor. Your health matters should be between your doctor and you. That is correct. I like that. Now, I feel healthier. I feel like it's a healthcare decision to get rid of Hillary Clinton. So if my doctor and I decide Hillary is a threat to my health, or Dr. Fauci, should we just have them eliminated from the planet? right? Well, the answer there is no, you're not allowed to kill other people, John, just because you think it's a concern of health for you. So government is not a doctor. Well, wait a minute. Isn't Dr. Fauci a government doctor? And he decided he was going to lock down the entire country and recommend that and force that on people. Yeah, the government is a doctor, and the government thinks it can make healthcare decisions for us. I don't think it should. I agree with you there. 100%. Government shouldn't make healthcare decisions for people. Government is not a doctor. But what the government is supposed to do is maintain peace between people, not cause more fighting, infighting, divisiveness, hatred, anger, and violence. That's precisely what the Democrats are doing. Rather than promoting peace, they're promoting violence. They're encouraging and allowing violence. And the government is also supposed to punish crime. It is illegal to kill somebody, except in the case of self-defense. Yet what does the government do? If you defend yourself and you use force or deadly force, whatever level of force is required to stop the threat against you from happening, well, right, governments, most of them or a lot of them in this country, will prosecute you for defending yourself. Unimaginably, unbelievably stupid, in my opinion. Yet it happens. Protecting the innocent, the weak, the incapable. That is what we as human beings are supposed to do, right? Women and children first, right? Protect the elderly. Protect from invasion, protect from foreign enemies, protect from bandits, protect from outlaws. We're supposed to protect children. Yet what is it that the government and Democrats want? They want to indoctrinate children. They want to kill babies with abortion. When does life start? It's a good question. I think the moment that a fertilized egg implants itself and begins to take nourishment from the mother, in my opinion, that is the moment that it is a viable baby. It can become a viable baby, right? Children, or minors, if you will, they're not adults. They have limited rights according to law and tradition because they're not capable. They're not capable of caring for themselves. So we're supposed to protect children, and what is a child, right? It's a living being that exists, whether it's breathing air or, basically scuba diving. All right. Michael B sent a CashApp donation, and I want to thank you very much for that, brother. Very, very much. I wish I could do more. This is what I do, though, folks. Thank you, Eli in the Wolverine State. Government, no. Government shouldn't be involved in healthcare. They should stick to what they're supposed to do. Here's a statement from Uman. He says, new McDonald's CEO says his goal is to wean people off of meat, as if they've used meat in years. I actually, after you sent that to me, Uman, I actually asked a good friend. I said, hey, what do you think of this? And the response I got was, they're still serving meat? And this person does not eat McDonald's food. Now, here's the deal. Since when does a restaurateur or the CEO of one, does he have some sort of social responsibility to the world? I'll tell you what, as consumers, we can vote with our feet and our wallets and not walk into a McDonald's and not buy their not meat. They've tried this already, folks. They tried it with the Impossible Meat that they were selling through Burger King, McDonald's, all kinds of restaurants selling this non-meat stuff, this disgusting goo that's farted out of yeasts combined with soy. Unbelievable. Yep. They haven't made meat in a long time as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to reward these companies. You want to be woke? Then they can go broke. You can join Dick's Sporting Goods. You can join Nike. You can join Coca-Cola. You can join all these companies that have done nothing but make my life less enjoyable. If every restaurant wants to wean us off of meat, you see, folks, here's what weaning is. Weaning originally is about a human baby or livestock being denied milk so that they can start eating grown-up food, right? Baby cow goes from milk to grass. Baby human goes from milk to other human food, including meat. To wean us off of meat is to say that there's something greater and better than being a human adult. Right? There's something bigger. The next step beyond, they're going to wean us so that we can learn. It's incredible. I have not met any vegetarians, folks, that I would say are particularly healthy. I know there's a lot of people that say, well, I don't eat meat and I'm very healthy. Well, I beg to differ. Right? I do. I don't like this idea that they can tell us. Right? I know when I crave meat and I know when I crave vegetables, and I need both, but they're going to wean us off of meat. Maybe McDonald's will have some bug on a stick, some teriyaki sticks with some grasshoppers and grubs, and oh yeah, some juicy beetle grubs, deep fried. No more meat. They're pushing it, folks. Soylent Green. It's people. They're feeding you people. Oh yeah, don't worry, folks. That'll be 5 years or so. We'll start talking about, well, humans are made out of meat, and we don't want to waste all that energy that went into making a person. We should feed people to other people. Maybe they'll start with feeding us to, I don't know, other carnivores. Oh, I know, feeding us to the beetles so that we can turn and eat the beetle grubs, which are made out of us, because that's what the beetles ate. It's disgusting. It truly is disgusting what they're trying to do to us. Are you going to tolerate it, folks? Right? We used to say, well, they're going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. No, there's no steps forward anymore. Everything the Democrats want is SHTF. Everything. There's no fixing anything. There's no taking it back. We're going into battle mode now. And I know that makes Kaz happy. It is time to get ready for battle mode. We are now politically battling. There's no longer any talks, discussions, niceties. There's no compromise. There's no getting along. It is now political battle. Battle stations, everyone. Battle stations. Every right that you have is under attack. Everything you hold as sacred and dear is under attack. The enemies are domestic. I am more concerned and more afraid of our government than I am of the Russian government and the Chinese government and the Canadian government combined. Chance favors the prepared mind. Go to thepreparedmind.club. It is your store, right? Get your prepper supplies at the prepper supply zone, thepreparedmind.club. We've got these other links. Everything you need: food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I know I plug the club at the end of every show and say sign up with Patreon, right? $2 a month. I save it for the end. I don't want to have to promote this stuff. I just know it's necessary to continue my political battle, your political battle, our battle that we wage together. The information, the psychological war, the psyop, if you will, the communications war. It's on. There's no more compromise. There's no agreeing to disagree with these people and allowing them to take us. It is time to fight back peacefully. Not even mostly peacefully, folks. Fully peacefully. Get ready for the purge. Get ready for that 10-mile radius around you. Have all the food and water and supplies you need. It's going to get that ugly. It's going to get there. Semper Fi. Godspeed to you all. And I mean it.